ADP research found that 85% of workers believe AI will impact their jobs somehow. So they know that it's coming, they know that changes are happening. But their views on whether this is going to be a positive impact fully relies upon their confidence in their own AI skills. And so, Elena, how should organizations approach educating and training their workers on the use of AI?
Yeah, I mean, again, we don't want any workers to feel left behind, right? I don't think AI is going to be the replacement for the workforce. It's a tool that the workforce is going to use to achieve, bigger and better goals. So the way I look at it, training is important for a couple of reasons. First, we want to use training to make sure that people understand the risks and the opportunities that AI presents, right? So they need to understand how to make sure that they're looking at accuracy or bias and transparency and making sure that they're thinking about those things in their use of AI. But even kind of at a more basic fundamental level, training your workforce on AI and what it is and what it's not will help bring the workforce into this technical revolution, right? So that people aren't feeling left behind, they're ready to use it, and we're kind of upskilling the workforce for this, to use AI. I think one other issue that is key for training, when you're using a tool, let's say a job description generator, right? So if you're using an AI job description generator, the training needs to be specific to that use case as well, right? So somebody who's using a recruiter who's looking at a job description that was generated by AI needs to understand how they bring their own company into that job description, right? So they know things about the particular job that's being described in the job description. They know things about that job. They know things about their company. The way I think AI really works and sings is you're marrying what the AI can do in drafting that job description plus what the human knows about the job and about their workforce. A system that trains people how to use AI in a use case specific way is a real win.
Yeah. It's interesting, Elena, when you and I have talked about this in the past, you've always talked about AI as being sort of that helpful assistant who does a lot of things well, may not get everything sort of quite right. And to me, that speaks to really the value that people can realize from this in their jobs, and that they're going to be able to have help with routine tasks. They're going to be able to move up the value chain. They're going to be able to unleash their creativity in new ways because they'll not have to focus on those routine things, and AI will help them in creating that. And so I think it's really not something to be scared of or that's going to displace. I think it's just going to unleash this wave of new opportunities and new possibilities as people figure out how this helps them and allows them to achieve more in their work every day.
And I think also building on that is that setting the right expectations for workers is also really important, because when new technologies come out, people they tend to have heightened expectations about what's possible, right? And so it's like, well, if we're in the early innings of actually doing this and getting this right for these use cases, to understand that we're on an adoption curve of how this is going to work, and there's a maturity of how this is going to work. Calibrate the expectations, but it's important to get started so that you know what you're going to get and how to use it, how to add value to it, right? And then get it to the end point of where you want to achieve the outcomes.